The 2014 FIFA World Cup qualification was a series of tournaments organized by the 6 FIFA confederations. The 2014 FIFA World Cup features 32 teams, with one place reserved for the host nation, Brazil. The remaining 31 places were determined by a qualification process, in which the other 207 teams, from the 6 FIFA confederations, competed. Most of the successful teams were determined within these confederations, with a limited number of inter-confederation playoffs occurring at the end of the process. Bhutan, Brunei, Guam and Mauritania did not enter, and South Sudan joined FIFA after the qualification process started and therefore could not take part. The qualification process consisted of 820 matches, reduced from 824 after the late withdrawals of the Bahamas and Mauritius. The first qualification match, between Montserrat and Belize, was played on June 15, 2011, and the Belizeans striker Din Makali scored the first goal in qualification. Qualification ended on November 20, 2013, when Uruguay eliminated Jordan to become the final qualifier for the World Cup. 23 of FIFA's 24 top-ranked countries eventually qualified. Qualified teams. Qualification process. The Executive Committee decided to approve the change of date for the preliminary draw of the 2014 FIFA World Cup, which was held 6 months earlier than in the past, to allow the confederations to begin their qualifying competitions in good time. The draw was held on July 30, 2011 at the Marina da Glacubadria in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The distribution by confederation for the 2014 FIFA World Cup is, AFC 4 or 5 places, CAF, 5 places, CONCACAF, 3 or 4 places, CONMEBOL, 4 or 5 places, OFC, 0 or 1 place, UEFA, 13 places. UEFA and CAF have a guaranteed number of places, whereas the number of qualifiers from other confederations is dependent on playoffs between AFC's 5th-placed team and CONMEBOL's 5th-placed team, and between CONCACAF's 4th-placed team and OFC's 1st-placed team. A draw determined the pairings between the 4 teams involved. During the first stage of qualification, the percentage of teams from each confederation that passed through to Stage 2 was as follows: AFC 0%, CAF, 40%, CONCACAF, 75%, CONMEBOL, 83%, OFC, ENA, UEFA, 46%. Summary of qualification, tiebreakers. For FIFA World Cup qualifying stages using a league format, the method used for separating teams level on points is the same for all confederations. If teams are even on points at the end of group play, the tied teams will be ranked by goal difference in all group matches, greater number of goals scored in all group matches, greater number of points obtained in matches between the tied teams, goal difference in matches between the tied teams, greater number of goals scored in matches between the tied teams, greater number of away goals scored in matches between the tied teams if only 2 teams are tied. If teams are still equal, then a single play-off at a neutral venue will be played. If scores are level after 90 minutes in the play-off, then 2 15-minute periods of extra time and a penalty shootout would determine the winner. For FIFA World Cup qualifying stages using a home and away knockout format, the team that has the higher aggregate score over the 2 legs progresses to the next round. In the event that aggregate scores finished level, the away goals rule is applied, that is, the team that scored more goals away from home over the 2 legs progresses. If away goals are also equal, then 30 minutes of extra time are played, divided into 2 15-minute halves. The away goals rule is again applied after extra time, that is, if there are goals scored during extra time and the aggregate score is still level, the visiting team qualifies by virtue of more away goals scored. If no goals are scored during extra time, the tie is decided by penalty shootout. Confederation qualification, AFC. Qualification began with 2 sets of 2-leg knockout qualification rounds, the first held on June 29 and July 2 and July 3, 2011, and the second on 23 and 28 July, reducing the number of teams in the main draw to 20. The draw for the first 2 rounds of qualifiers was held in Kuala Lumpur on March 30, 2011. As in the 2010 format, The third stage consisted of 5 groups of 4 teams with the top 2 in each group advancing to 2 groups of 5 that played a further group stage during 2012. The top 2 teams in each group qualified for the 2014 World Cup directly, while the 2 third-placed teams engaged in a playoff tie for a chance to qualify via a further inter-confederation qualifying tie against a team from CONMEBOL. The qualification process began with 43 national teams vying for 4.5 spots. As of September 10, 2013, 38 nations have been eliminated. 4 nations have qualified: Japan, Australia, Iran and Korea Republic. Jordan beat Uzbekistan in round 5 and played Uruguay, the 5th-placed team from CONMEBOL, for the right to qualify, where they were eliminated. Final positions. Playoff for 5th place. CAF. 52 out of the 53 national associations affiliated to CAF entered the qualifying tournament to determine the continent's 5 slots for the next World Cup. Qualification began with a first round of 12 two-legged knockout ties, which were held between 11th and 16th November 2011. The ties involved the 24 lowest-ranked teams according to FIFA World Rankings. The 12 winners joined the remaining 28 CAF entrants in the second round, which consisted of 10 groups of 4. The winners of each group a Euro held between June 2012 and September 2013 a Euro advanced to a third round of 5 two-legged knockout ties. The 5 winners of these ties a Euro held in October and November 2013 a Euro advanced to the 2014 FIFA World Cup finals. Third round. CONCACAF. In May 2010, the CONCACAF Executive Committee announced a possible change in its qualifying format for the 2014 World Cup, which would start with a preliminary knockout stage followed by 3 group phases. However, these proposals were abandoned. CONCACAF once again used a 6-team final stage. The 10 lowest-ranked nations played two-legged ties, with the 5 winners joining the nations ranked 7 a Euro 25 in round 2. There were 6 groups of 4 teams, with the 6 group winners joining the nations ranked 1 a Euro 6 in round 3. There were 3 groups of 4 teams and the top 2 teams in each group advanced to round 4. These 6 nations formed one group, with the top 3 teams qualifying and Mexico, the 4th-placed team, advancing to the Intercontinental Playoff against New Zealand, the top team from the office. A total of 35 national teams began the qualification process vying for 3.5 spots. 31 nations were eliminated and the Bahamas withdrew. Final positions. CONMEBOL. As Brazil has already qualified as host, the remaining 9 CONMEBOL teams took part in a double round-robin group, playing each other twice using the same schedule as previous qualification tournaments. The top 4 teams qualified automatically, whereas Uruguay, the 5th-placed team, proceeded to the interconfederational playoff against Jordan, the 5th-placed team from Asia. Final positions, OFC. The 4 lowest-ranked nations competed in the first round of qualifying, a single round-robin tournament in Apia, Samoa, from 22 a Euro November 26, 2011. The winners of the group, Samoa, joined the remaining 7 OFC teams in the 2012 OFC Nations Cup, which also doubled as the second qualifying round. The 4 semi-finalists of the OFC Nations Cup advanced to the third round, which consisted of a double round-robin held on a home-and-away basis between 7 September 2012 and 26 March 2013. New Zealand, as the winners of the third round, proceeded to the Inter-Confederation playoff against Mexico, the 4th-placed team from CONCACAF, where they were eliminated. Final positions. UEFA. The European qualification games started in September 2012, after Euro 2012. All 53 national associations affiliated with UEFA took part in the qualification process. In round 1, teams competed in 8 groups of 6 teams and a single group of 5 teams. The 9 group winners qualified, while the 8 best runners-up are Euro ranked according to all their games except for games against the 6th-placed team in their group a Euro entered into the playoffs for the 4 remaining spots. Final positions. Second round. The second round was contested by the top 8 runners-up. The second round draw took place at the headquarters of FIFA in Saar-1-Quarterich, Switzerland, on October 21. October 2013 FIFA World Rankings were used to decide which of the teams was seeded. The matches were played on 15 and 19 November 2013. Inter-confederation playoffs. There were two scheduled inter-confederation playoffs to determine the final two qualification spots to the finals. The first legs were played on November 13, 2013, and the second legs were played on November 20, 2013. AFC 5th place v CONMEBOL 5th place. CONCACAF 4th place v OFC winner. Top goal scorers. There were 2,286 goals scored over 816 games, for an average of 2.80 goals per game. 11 goals, 10 goals, 9 goals, 8 goals. Notes. References. External links: 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil matches and results at FIFA.com, live preliminary draw.